Hi guys, and welcome to our episode for Ask Evette. And today we have a question about what is the hormonal causes of cellulite? Hi everyone, welcome, Evette Rose here. And guys, today we're going to be having a look at the psychosomatic stress behind cellulite and also the hormonal causes behind this. Now guys, also if you don't know me, I'm known for writing this big book, Metaphysical Anatomy, which is a big book of 679 medical ailments, and that is the psychosomatic stress for adults. And we're going to be diving a little bit into that book as well in relationship to this question that we had here today on the Ask Evette episode. And guys, also if you have kids, if you love kids, or if you just want to find out even more about your own childhood and your own childhood stress that you've never been able to fully resolve, guys, Metaphysical Anatomy now has what's psychosomatics for kids. And I'm so excited about this book as well. There's so many wonderful deep references and resources that you can dive into that book as well. And guys, also you can see I'm actually really outside here, beautiful Bali, and so whatever background noise it is that you're going to hear, it's just going to be part of the ambience. So when we now look at this question, this is a really great question. Firstly, we need to look at the fact that if there's hormonal causes behind cellulite, which I know is normally the diagnosis, but let's just break it into two. Now, if there's hormonal causes, first of all, just right off the bat, now we know that there's a lot of emotions in your life that is out of control. Completely out of control. It means that there's a part of you that's trying to hold your composure. You're trying to stay connected to what it is that's going on. You're trying to find your inner equilibrium, but it's just really, really hard. You're having a lot of stress. There's maybe people, maybe there's circumstances in your life that's causing you just to feel completely thrown off of balance, and you don't know how to find your place of centeredness. You don't know how to find your balance again. And that would normally tell me, for example, that something or someone intimidated your inner confidence. Someone intimidated your ability and your capacity to stand strong in your truth. Because it's not just about being in control of your emotions. Because at the end of the day, emotions also should be expressed. But you're not expressing it. And when you do find yourself, by the time that you do express it, it spirals out of control as well. So you might find like by the time that you're done expressing yourself, you're like, oh my God, that was so much clearer in my head than what I expressed it. It just didn't come out the way that you wanted or needed it to be. So that is now, because there's so much happening. It's been suppressed and there's bubbling. And now what that also means is that the emotions that you're feeling, the emotional stress that comes together with all of this is creating a tremendous amount of emotional toxicity in the body. But along with that, there's also a lot of deep suppressed anger. And this anger comes from injustice. It comes from feeling that people have done wrong by you. There's a lot of unfairness. And this normally comes forward because you didn't express what you needed to express at the time when certain things did go wrong. You didn't establish your boundaries. You didn't take that extra step that you should have probably taken to correct something that became completely out of control. And I'm not saying that it's your fault. It's absolutely not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that there's a lot of wounds that was triggered in that moment that made you feel powerless and made you feel that I'm not allowed, I shouldn't. So there's a lot of old inner childhood stuff that's coming forward, and it's normally the inner child that's talking at that time that's just really wounded. He or she is really deeply hurt, and he or she is now acting and behaving in ways of saying, I don't want to say something, I don't want to act out because I will be punished. So deep down, there's still that old cycle. That cycle is continuing now to run and play forward. And normally what you'll notice and probably see is that maybe there was a parent, there was a mom, dad, maybe there was a main caregiver as well that was very angry, that was very volatile, very, emotions fluctuating quite a lot. So never quite knowing where you would stand with them. Normally you would just find out by the time when they would have an outburst. So that is where this carefulness, being really super hyper vigilant in terms of when you act and when you don't react. But I mean, we all have a threshold. You can only hold it back for so long. So it gets to that point where you emotionally feel like you're losing control, and it builds and it builds and it builds. And of course, like anything else in life, it's going to explode. It's going to collapse under pressure. And what's happening now with cellulite is that when we look at the psychosomatics of that, this is now a deep part of you that's holding on to fat and to protect yourself from toxins, right? Meaning toxic emotion, toxic interactions from people. What is meant to nurture you and probably make you feel safe, and mainly the people that's meant to make you feel safe and protect you are the ones normally that's causing you to feel really unsafe, that you don't feel that you safely can connect to. Now, what's happening also is that the anger that you're feeling, anger is a magnet for heavy metals. It's a magnet for toxicity. So when you're feeling all the stress that you're feeling now in the gut and you're not letting go, which tells me that there's stress dynamics in relationship to a father figure or to a masculine figure, now that means there's an inability or a stress associated with letting go of all traumas that you've experienced or felt in the past in relationship to this figure. Now what's happening is that this is now actually showing up in your digestive tract in the colon. The colon is not letting go of the waste, so the waste gets stuck and it reabsorbs the toxins from this waste, and this gets reabsorbed back into the body, and that toxins is also getting stuck in the fat tissue, because what the body is doing is trying to grab the fat so that it doesn't flow wild into the body, so that it stays, at least it's parked somewhere. Imagine like it's literally parking a car somewhere so that it can go rampant. But now the problem is it's much harder to get rid of the cellulite, because the body is almost scared to let go of the fat, because if it does, it releases the toxins. And that tells me that your lymph nodes are probably not feeling psychosomatically ready to deal with the influx of all the stress that's coming forward with that. So now what that is telling me as well is it continues to reinforce the message of feeling under attack. Something is causing you in your life to feel under attack, and you can't fully express yourself because you don't feel heard. Maybe you don't feel respected. Maybe you're not standing strong enough in your boundaries because you have a fear associated with expressing boundaries. If you have a fear of confrontation, then absolutely, boundaries is going to be a problem for you. Just because maybe you can shout your boundaries when you're really super angry doesn't mean that you have good boundaries. It means that you had to be pushed to the absolute brink before you could express yourself. You should be able to express your boundaries with ease and with grace, regardless whether you're happy or sad, or whether you are pushed on the brink, or whether you're actually just having a really good day. No should be effortless. And that comes from diving deep down and knowing and understanding that it is your God-given birthright to say no. You're absolutely allowed to express your limitations. And just to be, and for me, when I think of expressing my limitations, which means no, that's enough, a lot of people actually associate that with a weakness. People associate recognizing where your limitations are. It's a weakness. Guys, it's not. That's called self-love. I'm sorry, but that is called self-love. To know and understand what you can and cannot handle. To know and understand where you can be pushed to and when it's just absolutely enough. That is recognizing I'm in discomfort now. I'm hurting. I'm feeling like I'm being pushed beyond a certain point that I know how to deal with. Or it's just, I don't like this. This is not in alignment with me. And putting a stop to it. Because by the time that you're really super angry, where you've lost control, where you feel like everything is just too much, you're now in damage control mode. Now you're way past that line that should have been prevented from being overstepped by having that conscious awareness and mindfulness in relationship to what feels good to you and what doesn't. But to have the self-love, to have the self-worth, to take action. So guys, this is what this condition is showing you, and I do hope that that helps. I know it was a mouthful, but it's so important to understand, because the more knowledge you have, the more power to you. And guys, absolutely, you can find out so much more in Volume 1 about this condition as well, including 679 medical other ailments. And so guys, keep asking all these really great questions, and until next time, be the light that you are. Thank you guys for joining me here, and also remember to subscribe to our math membership website. You can check out so much more. There's so many free healing courses there as well. Go to evetterose.com, see all the free masterclasses and events that we have coming up. There's always something happening on our platform, and we love to hear from you for the Ask Evette episodes, but also for the psychosomatic patterns that you would love for us to talk about, especially when it comes to these books, the research that's in it. And there's so much to be learned and so much to be shared as well. So I love your questions. Let us know what's on your mind. Let us know what you would love me to address as well. Life challenges, it's endless. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. And remember to subscribe so that you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest videos that's coming out just for you. Until next time, be the light that you are.